Good evening. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. If you'd please join me in the pledges and remain standing for an opening prayer. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God,
one and indivisible. If you please remain standing, Pastor Jason Wyatt from River Valley Christian Fellowship Church will offer an opening prayer this evening. Pastor, thank you for being here.
Privilege and blessing being here with y'all. You guys bow your heads, close your eyes. Lord Jesus, we come before you and we praise you and thank you first. What a privilege and blessing it is that we get to seek you first before we do anything. What a privilege and blessing it is that we have breath in our lungs, life in our bodies, that every day is a new day. And Lord, I praise you and thank you for these men and women who you've put in power by your authority to help lead this area, help lead Bastrop School District. I thank you, Lord, for the giftings you've given them. I thank you, Lord, that this meeting would be a meeting full of wisdom and knowledge, and a meeting that would have unity, that it would be a meeting, Lord, that things would get done. I thank you for each and every person that's here. I thank you for each and every person that will come up. I know there'll be students that will come up and they'll speak, and they're going to be a little bit nervous. And right now, Lord, I just ask for a peace that they couldn't explain, and that they'd be able to speak clearly and know that they're okay. Thank you for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Edwards, would you introduce our student speaker?
Yes, it'd be my pleasure. This month, student speaker on character education, our trait is self-discipline. And with us today is Johan Ressa. He's a fourth grade. There's Johan. Come on up, Johan.
Right there. Right there.
Right there. Hold on, we're going to give you a little help. Mic down for you.
We're on hold for just a moment. You're going to get your little box to stand on.
Well,
so
while
we
we're
can
waiting
see.
to get a little platform for him to stand on, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a fourth grader at Lost Pines Elementary School. Johan is an excellent student with good grades, and he's involved in the Gifted and Talented program. Congratulations, Johan. In his spare time, what he likes to do is play soccer with his younger brother, and in the future, he would like to be a part of a soccer team. I think we can help you with that. An awesome fact about Johan is that he learned how to read and write in Spanish prior to attending pre-K. Is that true? Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Congratulations. And he continues to practice this skill to this day. Who's with you today, Johan? Who's in the audience with you?
My parents.
Your parents, and your little brother?
Mm-hmm, yes.
All right, here we go. Here comes a platform for you. There you go. All right.
Hello, board members and Mr. Edwards. My name is Johan Reza, and I am a fourth grade student at Lost Pines Elementary. I am here to discuss the character trait of self-discipline and how it helps us to be successful. Self-discipline is the ability to push yourself forward, stay motivated, and take action. Self-discipline is very important in life because it helps you maintain a good mindset. Being self-disciplined has boosted my confidence and makes me proud of the student I am. In order to stay self-disciplined, you have to avoid distractions, set goals, and motivate yourself. It's all about doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. When I was little, I didn't go to pre-K, but I still studied at home. My mom taught me how to read and write in Spanish. This is when I first learned how important self-discipline is. When I entered kindergarten, I learned how to read and write in English. That took even more self-discipline, since kindergartners can be very distracting. I stay focused by not letting distractions steal my attention Even now, I still have to think about what is really important and dedicate my time to that instead of goofing off in class. Every single day is an opportunity to learn something new, but you will miss it if you weren't paying attention. A quote that I really like is, "Motivation gets you going, but self-discipline keeps you growing." Thank you for your time this evening.
We have a little special gift for you, Johan. Thank you so much and congratulations. And thank you for sharing those words with us. Thank you. Yeah.
It's good standing for a microphone. Thank you for that. Okay, so we don't have any student advisory. Okay, now we move into our recognitions and special presentations. First presenter will be Dr. Christy Lee, Deputy Superintendent. Will be covering a...
At some point.
And furniture mover.
Other duties as assigned, right? Okay, yes, it's such a great night for recognizing some students who've done some amazing things in their educational career and extracurriculars, and tonight we're going to start with fine arts. So I'm proud, and I'm serving as Chico, by the way, tonight, our Director of Fine Arts. But Madison Paget, our CCHS choir director, has some good news to share with you. Or, this is not Madison. This is Dalton Davis.
I can talk.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Dalton Davis. I'm here on behalf of Madison Paget. She couldn't be here due to some unforeseen circumstances, but I do, I see these kids every day. I have multiple of them in my AP Music Theory course. I actually had the pleasure of taking 2 of them to Allstate this year and, taking them to the hotels and feeding them lunch and dinner and getting them to rehearsals. And the choir this year did something that was unprecedented for Cedar Creek. They went to UIL and as a varsity group, and they were earned straight ones on stage and sight reading, which is, going back, that's the first time in Cedar Creek that we've gotten straight ones. The choir has been able to pull it off on stage before, and they've been able to pull it off in sight reading before, but never both at the same time. So those kids worked incredibly hard. They put in hours before and after school. I see them in the practice room every morning, and they did a really, truly awesome job this year putting together a wonderful UIL program and a wonderful choir. Madison, I know, is super proud of them and super excited and is already planning for next year. And they're currently working on a spring show that's coming out on May 2nd, and I think it has a theme of colors called Prism. So she did ask me to plug that. So if anybody wants to come out and watch the choir, the award-winning choir come and do a spring show, May 2nd is their date. And that's what I have to say about choir. There's no CCH choir students here tonight. All right. And then up next, we have my program. So I have a couple students here. So if you guys want to come forward and just kind of stand right out in front. I'm representing myself and Ms. Caitlin Kennedy, who could not be here due to an emergency. But the Cedar Creek High School Band had some successes this year at the UIL concert program. From the sub-non-varsity band, who got superior ratings on stage and in sight reading, we have Alberto Vera, Neil Parker, and Jackson Benza here representing them. And then from Miss Kennedy's band, the non-varsity group, we have Jack March, Scarlett Collins, Caleb Rentis, and Karenise Camillo. All these students have been tremendous works this year. They've worked really hard. Both ensembles had extra rehearsals before and after school. Miss Kennedy's band, she was a first-year teacher, and they worked very hard after school on Mondays. They had before-school sectionals every day to pull off what they did, and I'm very, very proud of them. I'm very proud of Miss Kennedy. And then for the sub-non-varsity band, which has only been in existence at Cedar Creek for 3 years, it's only the third time they've gone. It was truly special because I actually had 6 students in that ensemble who'd never played an instrument before this year, complete beginners as high schoolers that we were able to teach up and get ready, and every single student performed, and they did incredibly well. They were also the very first kids of the day at the contest. They got up 5 a.m. was call time. They got to school. We got there. They performed incredibly well. It was a really great day for the entire program. So I just want to say thank you for your support for our band programs and our fine arts. And I think the kids would like to say thank you as well. That's it. All right, guys, I think we're going to go out this way and out the door.
Okay, do we have Ms. King here? Yes, there she is. Okay, next I want to introduce to you McKenna King. She is the choir director at Bastrop Middle School and is just doing some amazing things there. So come on up, Ms. King.
And sing for us. I'm just kidding. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Edwards and the Bastrop ISD School Board. Like she said, my name's McKenna King. I'm the choir director at Bastrop Middle School. On April 5th, my advanced treble choir and I had the honor of performing at the UIL concert and sight reading evaluation. We worked so incredibly hard for many months, preparing our 3 songs for the concert, 2 of which were in foreign languages. One was Italian, one was Spanish. And we worked on our sight singing abilities, and like 90% of them had never sight sang in their entire lives. So that was very impressive. It is with great pride that I share that we received straight superior ratings for the 2nd year in a row for the concert portion. We also received great ratings for the sight singing portion as well. This accomplishment would not have been possible without the support of my wonderful principal, Ms. Horn, and our amazing fine arts supervisor, Mr. Portillo. Thank you, school board and Mr. Edwards, for everything that you do to support the arts in Bastrop ISD. Yay!
Okay, next we have the Bastrop Middle School bands. So Mr. Ortega, is Mr. Ortega here? No? Okay, okay. Come on up, Ms. Stern. And your students, Mr. Ortega is the lead director, and Ms. Stern is his assistant at Bastrop Middle School, and had the pleasure of spending time in their classroom earlier this year, and they do some amazing things, great things, getting bands started at Bastrop Middle School. Ms. Stern.
Good evening, Bastrop ISD. My name is Rachel Stern, and I have had the privilege of directing the symphonic band at Bastrop Middle School this year. We recently earned superior ratings at the concert evaluation portion of UIL. The students were evaluated on 3 pieces as well as a sight reading piece, music which the students had never seen before and had 7 minutes to prepare before performing. The 3 judges for the 3 prepared pieces all gave students a score of 1, which is the highest possible rating. I'm extremely proud of my students for achieving this honor. Thank you, Mr. Edward and the board, Mr. Portillo and Ms. Horn, and the rest of Bastrop Middle School administration for your support of fine arts in this county. Mr. Ortega unfortunately couldn't be here today because he's feeling under the weather, but the honors band did earn a sweepstakes award, which means they got 1s from every single judge for their onstage performance and their sight reading performance. So I'm super proud of both groups today.
Okay, and last but not least, let me introduce to you Kenneth Gilbreth, the band director, lead director at Bastrop High School, to share with you their news.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having us again. So we have up on the slides, you see our sub-non-varsity band and our non-varsity band, so our 2nd and 3rd band. Our sub-non-varsity band is directed by Mr. Evan Carley, and we have a couple of our drum majors here, Sadie Lord and Jeffrey Bain, that are holding some of the awards from that contest. And this year, our sub-non-varsity band made a 1 in sight reading. They got one of the plaques, and then our non-varsity band also made a 1 in sight reading. And both bands this year were just 1 judge away from making a 1 in concert. So they had 2 judges that gave them a 2 and 1 judge that gave them a 1. So it was very, very close, and we're very proud of all their work. This is Mr. Gutierrez. He's not a student. He directs he's our assistant, one of our assistant directors, and Mr. Carley wasn't able to be here tonight. So we're just extremely proud of their work. These students do prepare music starting as early as December, and come for sectionals in the morning. And then starting around February, we have about an hour and a half rehearsal once a week that they come to. And so they really have to put in a lot of extra time and hours, and especially playing the same music for several months. And so we're very proud of both of those groups. The next group, is this the clicker? There. The next group is the varsity group, and this group was awarded the Sweepstakes Award this year for the 6th year in a row. They were awarded ones in marching, concert, and sight reading. And this year, the varsity band, we call it the Wind Ensemble, prepared a piece called Symphony for Band by Vincent Persichetti. It's about 17 minutes long. And in addition, they have to play a march as well, and another piece as well. And so probably about 25 minutes of music. And so they worked extremely, extremely hard. We had our doubts about how it was going, and having to fight through all kinds of those types of things, but they worked really, really hard and did such a great job. And so this is my 8th year here in Bastrop. My wife and I love it here. And we feel extremely supported by our administrators, by our principals, Ms. Gabriel. We have great resources through Mr. Portillo, who comes and helps us on a regular basis. And so I just cannot say enough about how this community and this school really, really supports fine arts, and especially band in Bastrop. And I'm extremely grateful to be able to work here. And so thank you all so much. So, yep.
Will be led by Amanda Brantley, Director of College Career and Military Readiness. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm actually going to introduce you all to Avery Pereira, who is our Coordinator of Career and Technical Education. Avery is ending her 2nd school year with Bastrop ISD. We were really lucky to get her. And these teachers and students that she's about to introduce are really lucky to have her as well. She does a lot to support them. But we've got several recognitions tonight. We're really proud of our kids, so thank you for letting us bring them to you.
Good evening. Thank you for recognizing our CTE students. And we have some great programs, as Mrs. Brantley said. So to introduce the results of our first group, we've got, we're going to, right. Excellent. Okay. I'm a little short. Maybe I needed the podium as well. So we're going to start off with our agriculture teachers who support all of our FFA programs, our agriculture programs of study. Rachel Hamby is with us tonight, as well as Chad Gertz and Sierra Good.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank y'all for having us and giving a shout out to these kiddos for the recognition I think they deserve on the ag side. We're speaking for the Cedar Creek side of town, and we'll have Miss Hamby follow us up on the Bastrop. I'm alongside Miss Sierra Good, my partner teacher there at Cedar Creek High School, and we had great things going on in FFA this year and our ag program in general. As far as BOUS was concerned, which is our Bastrop Area Livestock Show, good things on Cedar Creek. We had grand champion Dalton Dilly Market Swine, which is your pigs. He actually broke the record at $7,500, so very good on that. Mr. Edwards and Dr. Lee come out to our cell so they see how things go, and these are really good monetary values to get for these students. Reserve champion Mr. Abram Gonzalez up here. He got second place, which is the reserve, also won senior showmanship. Market Lambs reserve champion Caitlin Davis, she's not here, won showmanship. Market Goats, Mr. Luke Bauer over here, broke the record at $12,500 for his goat this year. Really proud of that. Reserve champion Paisley Foskey, she won senior showmanship as well. And Luke, again, another grand champion for his market broilers, which are chickens. So thanks for everyone that came out to support these kids. They put in a lot of hard work. So thank you to everybody for that.
You can stay there, Luis. Luis is the only livestock exhibitor from the Bastrop side of things that can make it tonight. The rest are, some of them are working on award applications at the school with my partners, and some had prior obligations. But Luis here took home 4th place market steer. The other awards we had reserve champion Western art from Audrey Williams, 2nd place photography from Jordan Dyer, grand champion public speaking Abigail Williams, reserve grand champion public speaking Brooke Napier, and then 3rd place public speaking from also Jordan Dyer. And then in our food prep contest, we took home reserve grand champion from our student Alyssa Kopecki. She made a really pretty cake. And then Audrey Williams placed first in her category, and she made a all from scratch margarita pizza, the crust, the sauce, the cheese, all of it she made from scratch. So it was really good. Actually, I got to taste test it. For our ag mechanics, which you can see in the photo up here, our students Rand Barger and Bodie Fisher made a shooting table, and they received grand champion for that. And then Abigail Williams received reserve grand champion in ag mechanics, and then Mason Stagman and Alex Longoria tied for 3rd place overall in ag mechanics. Back to our animals, so like I said, Luis placed 4th with his market steer. We also had 6th place. We had 5th place market goat, 2nd place breeding goat, and then Kyle Tillman took home 3rd place for his market broilers, as well as showmanship. And then we had 6th, 8th, and 9th place market broilers. And then our students Trinity Whitson had grand champion market rabbits, reserve grand champion market rabbits for Mandy Conforti, 3rd place market rabbits for Brooke Napier, 9th place Lily Tillman, and then 11th place Clay Briseño. So that totaled to about $30,000 in the sale from all of those students. So we're very, very proud of their hard work for this year. So thank you.
Got my clicker down now. All right. Next up, we have from Bastrop High School, the FIRST Robotics Bear Tex team, and to share some success will be Kathy D'Amico and potentially Kelly Mannion. Actually, the students will be sharing their success, so I would invite the Bear Tex team to come up here, or the 3 students that are speaking. There we go.
Thank you for having us here tonight. First, we'd like to start with a recap of our fall semester. So we've doubled our recruitment, so we have double our members from the start of this year. We attended our NTX, which is our North Texas off-season competition, which allowed us to win against previous world champions at our robotics district events. We also participated in a Best in Texas STEM event competition that was held at the Circuit of the Americas, and we got 2nd place for our design, and we were also featured for that design on KXAN News.
Throughout the year, we've been trying to do a lot of outreach both in our school and in the community as a whole. So some of the events we participated in was the freshman orientation in August, to show kids the STEM opportunities they're going to have at Bastrop High School, along with recruiting them for the robotics team. We've attended multiple pep rallies and home football games with our Spirit robot to throw balls at little kids and get people excited about robotics. We've attended the homecoming parade on our own float and a community pep rally this year. Participated in the career exploration night and best college night to try and get kids in the community, interested in STEM, seeing the robot. We went to the MENA pep rally and took the Spirit bot to introduce the elementary kids to STEM, to robotics, and start getting them excited early. We went to the Reefs Across America event in honor of fallen soldiers, placing wreaths on graves. We went to the 4-H 101 night where we were showing, we were showing 4-H our robot and getting them interested because there's a robotics program there. And we went to the BIS Math and Science night, showing off the engineering classes and robotics.
During competition, we were in playoffs at both of our district event competitions and qualified for state, later ranking us 65 out of 175 in the state. We were awarded a very prestigious judges award during one of our district competitions, and we faced a lot of tough competitions with many world-ranked teams, and some robots soon to be powerhouses. And a lot of our success is due to the support of the board and of many other members of the school. And we'd like to thank y'all for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next group to be recognized is our Cedar Creek High School Eaglebots, and they are led by Elizabeth and James Louie. So if they would like to come up.
Hello, my name is, can you hear me? Yeah. Hello, my name is Venus Gonzalez Vega. I am captain of 12-12-6, and we are a all-girls team, but we recently owned Alex for a season. We've had recent success throughout the season. We qualified for UIL State, and we even got second runner-up for outreach, and outreach is something we're very focused on as a team. We've gone to many of the elementaries, including Blue Bonnet and Cedar Creek. We go to we posted the freshman orientation, and we showed them our road routes and even let them drive them around. All this is due thankful to our wonderful coaches, Mr. and Mrs. Louie. We genuinely could not be able to do it without them. A lot of the time, when we compete against schools, we hear a lot about like how they have a whole class period, but luckily we have our coaches and they're able to stay with us on weekends, after school, and even we're hosted around breaks, and it's very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful for our team because we also all put a lot of effort in, whether it's like sometimes even missing work just to come to an event. It's very nice to know that they would do that. We all learning, it's all of my team's first year. This is my second year, and this is the first time we've had such a big team for me. Like, we doubled in size. It's been great. We've been learning a lot about the engineering designs, and it's just really good that everyone puts a lot of effort into learning and they all have such a great passion for what we do. Yeah. We look forward to seeing all of you in the community coming up. We're doing a lot more outreach. Yeah.
Next up is our Bastrop High School Skills USA competition group, and they are advised by Derek Headley and James Cunningham.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank the board and the administration for all the support that we've got this year. Kind of a recap, we've had a pretty successful year, and we had 10 students that qualified for the state contest in Corpus. It was held March 31st through April the 2nd. At the state contest, we don't have final results. We just know we didn't get in the top 3 down there this time in any of our contests, but we did qualify in several different contests. The Community Service Project, the 3 team members were Kevin Hoffer, Lena McDonald, and Clayton Sherman. They're not here, but they were first place in district with that. Then we had Sammy Piper in Marine Technology, was 3rd place at district and qualified for state. Had Clayton Sherman was 1st place Mobile Electronics, and then Lena McDonald was 1st place in motorcycle. And along with that, we had 7 students, which these 3 guys are 3 of the 7-member Quiz Bowl team that was 2nd place district, qualified for state. Fernando Lopez, Nora Whited, and Rocker Loin, along with Isaac Villegas, Ryan Nelson, Clayton Sherman, and Matthew Ratton made up that team. Sammy Piper received a $500 Universal Technical Institute scholarship for that 3rd place, and Lena had a $1,000 UTI scholarship for that 1st place motorcycle. So I think that's pretty much got it all. Mr. Hadley's unable to be here. He's my counterpart, but he's doubles as the softball announcer, so he's at the softball game. Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Our next group is also from Bastrop High School, our HOSA competition group, and they will be are led by Annette Harrison and Becky Duty.
This is Joshua Dad Carroll. He competed in the first ever biotechnology competition in HOSA this year. This was the very first year to have it as a competition. He placed top 10 in round 1 area, went on to place 3rd in the skills section, which qualified him to go on to state, and he there qualified in the top 10 at state as well. So we're extremely proud of him. It's a very, very difficult competition.
Yeah.
Yes. It kind of doubles a little bit for us.
Our next group is our FFA group from Bastrop High School, and I believe Rachel Hamby will come up and share some successes.
All right, so again, I have Luis Alfaro and Sadie Lord here, which they just both so happen to be pictured in the photos above. So this year we had a meats evaluation team, a horse evaluation team, entomology, as well as dairy cattle evaluation team. Our meats evaluation team placed 6th at area, and Sadie placed in the top 10 individually. These teams are all consisted of 4 team members, and so they compete against all the other teams, and they're scored individually as well as a team. So Sadie placed in the top 10 individually, and the team placed 6th overall. Our horse judging team placed 24th at area, entomology 14th at area, and our dairy cattle evaluation team 15th at area. Fortunately, we did not have any teams advance to state this year, but they still had a successful season overall, so we're very proud of them.
Do you need to advance this? Oh.
And our final CTE group for the evening is our FFA group from Cedar Creek High School. Mr. Chad Gertz and Sierra Good will come up and share some success.
So not only are we celebrating our students' accomplishments from the Bastrop Area Livestock Show, but within our FFA program and our CDE teams as well. In horse judging, we placed 17th out of 38 teams. In district, we placed 2nd. Veterinary medicine, we placed 12th out of 39 teams in area and finished 1st in district. Livestock judging, we placed 17th out of 41 teams and 3rd in district. And Mr. Luke Bauer, also, he was 5th overall individual in livestock judging. Wildlife, we placed 7th out of 17 teams and 1st in district. And lastly, poultry, we placed 18th out of 23 teams and 4th in district. We ended up bringing a banner back to Cedar Creek and all of these teams within our district. Mr. Gertz and I just wanted to say we are so proud of how well they have done, and all the hard work they have put in has not gone unnoticed.
Also, on behalf of Bastrop County, alongside 4-H, or FFA, excuse me, we have our 4-H members as well. So they're alongside with AgriLife and our county extension agent. And Miss Melanie Mickelson wasn't able to make it tonight. But I want to give a shout out to Mr. Damian Guerrero here. He won junior showmanship with his goat this year. They compete alongside our high school students, and I've seen how hard he's worked these past couple of years on his goat. So on behalf of Bastrop County 4-H Club, I want to give him a huge congrats as well.
As we wrap up this evening, we're very fortunate to have the support of the board and Mr. Edwards and all of the school district with our CTE programs. Our CTE programs are unique in that a lot of the extracurricular events and activities that we've talked about tonight do correlate back to the course content that our students then take and apply in the real world, whether that's directly into workforce or into post-secondary opportunities. So very proud and very thankful for being able to recognize everyone tonight. And a quick reminder to our students and advisors to please stop on your way out and get your picture taken. And thank you.
What's that? For the members of our audience or those watching in, congratulations to all of our students. Thank you for representing us so well, and to all their sponsors. At this time, we wanted to do a special tribute to a very special person. Just before the board meeting started, we had a small reception for Miss Molly McClure, a very special board member who's done so much for the school district. And at this time, what we'd like to do is just a little special tribute that doesn't come close to thanking you and honoring you for your mentorship, your guidance, your tireless work. Ms. Leon, there's Leon. Thank you to Leon and the family for supporting you and all the efforts that you've made here. So if you would, sit back and enjoy this tribute.
Hey Molly, just wanted to tell you thank you and that you are loved and appreciated.
Hi, I want to say thank you, Molly, for all of the hard work that you have done to make BASD the place that it is. My favorite memory is just working alongside with you at Curriculum Council and seeing your passion and your love for learning and for students. You have made a difference. We so appreciate you. Thank you for your service. It means so much.
Ms. McClure, on behalf of the CNI directors, we want to thank you for your amazing work and passion and dedication to the Bastrop Independent School District. Enjoy your time off.
Joy! Yay, Molly!
Thank you, Molly. You've been a dream. You are the best board member we've ever seen. We are so sad to see you go, and we just want you to know.
Thank you so much for all you've done for Bastrop ISD. We appreciate it and we'll miss you.
Thank you for your service for our community. Enjoy retirement.
Thank you for all the work you've done, and I would tell you one of my retirement jokes, but sadly none of them work. Thank you for all the work you did.
Thank you for serving BISD.
Enjoy retirement.
Thank you for everything you've done. Hope you have a great retirement.
Thank you for making things better. Without you, we could never have any of this.
None of this would be possible without you.
Thank you, Molly.
Hi, Molly. On behalf of Business and Operations and Athletics, we just wanted to say for your many years of service and wish you all the best in retirement.
Thank you. Hi, Miss Molly. On behalf of Bastrop ISD, myself, and so many community members, I want to thank you for all that you've done for Bastrop ISD. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your care. We love you, and we're going to miss you so very much.
Hi, I'm Laura Faircloth, the principal at Bluebonnet Elementary, and Molly, you are huge shoes to fill. You will be so missed. We're grateful for your dedication to our schools, Bluebonnet in particular, but the belief in our teachers and the belief in our children and the example of a servant leader who knows that children can, knows that teachers can, and that teachers make the difference, but you are just the heart of what is needed, and we are so grateful for your time and your dedication to our campuses. Again, huge shoes to fill. You will be so missed. We hope to continue to see you at Bluebonnet, and we know that we'll continue to feel your impact for years to come. I have a guest with me.
I'm Aubrey, and thank you, Miss Molly, for being my mentor. Cause I like to be your person so much. I always think about you during lunch, and I like the way you taught me something new, like this way to calm me down when I'm mad.
Molly, we hope that you enjoyed this tribute to you, your dedication, your commitment to the school district over the years. We look forward to you continuing to support the district. You will be greatly missed. On behalf of all of the BISD faculty and staff, we wish you the very best, and thank you for all that you've done for BISD.
Thank you, Molly.
For me to serve on this board, and it's all about the people that are here and the community, and really the respect and the trust that everyone has in each other. People say, "Aren't you glad to get away?" And you know, so there's things that I will not miss. Reading the board book when it's 500, 600 pages sometimes. But everything else, it's very bittersweet because the people in this community are very special, and this school district, and the reason they're special is because it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids and having happy, successful, and healthy children. So thank you for allowing me to my community, for allowing me to serve.
It's been wonderful having you on the board, and I know where you live, so I have questions. You're not off the hook yet. Now we move to open forum. The board encourages comments from citizens of the district or from the district employees. Anyone that has signed up and wishes to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so at this time. The board asks that comments pertain to public education. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion of that issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. At no time will the board entertain questions from the audience and ask that all audience be respectful of other speakers and presenters. The board will not allow the use of any derogatory comments towards any individual staff members, teachers, or board members. The board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure At the lowest administrative level, a prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns. Complaints brought by students or their parents may be heard in accordance with policies FNG legal and FNB local. We'll be taking speakers in the order in which the requests were received. We'll allow 30 minutes for open forum. Tonight we have one speaker signed up to speak, and therefore the speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. Our speaker tonight is Mr. Phil Hawkins. Thank you for the podium, please.
So I'm it then, I guess. Well, in the last few weeks that we had before the election, I've had a few observations about your effort to pull this bond issue across the finish line, and I just wanted to offer a few suggestions. And let me say, first of all, that I'm in favor of the 2023 bond, but it is needed and will benefit this community greatly for many years to come, well after we are all dead and gone. But you're coming again to ask for $320 million on top of the $185 million you got in 2021. Now keep in mind, I have a background in municipal finance, and I have to admit to being very confused about how this money is going to be spent. Yes, you say in your presentation there will be no tax rate increase. I believe that's something you cannot promise, especially if the ballot says in bold text, this is a tax increase. You have a conflict between what you're saying and what the voter is going to see when they go to put their pen to paper. Now, the general public is not going to differentiate between a rate promise and a ballot that says otherwise, even if I'm scratching my head to figure out this conflicting situation, how you're going to deal with it. Also, you indicate $30 million is allocated for major capital improvements at Bastrop and Cedar Creek High Schools. Now, if memory serves, this is the exact same thing you promised in 2021. And looking at your particulars, the plans for remodeling and improvements are very suspiciously close to what you said in 2021. So what is it? You have more to do at these high schools? Was the money in 2021 not enough? These are the questions the public is going to ask themselves when they go to cast a ballot. You will be carrying a $500 million debt load, promising the public there will be no tax increases. Now, I know you're technically correct when you say no tax rate increase, but the public is not going to know the difference. All they hear is no tax increases, something that just doesn't ring true to the average homeowner. Not that you're lying to the public, but you're walking a very high wire assuming the municipal bond market conditions are going to stay the same, the interest rate environment is not going to change, and the favorable local real estate market all come together in the way that you anticipate, or more accurately, hope for. My point in all this is to say you have a lot to do in convincing the public, A, that you need this money, and B, how are you going to pay for it without tax increases? These are common sense questions. You're putting more emphasis on what the money is going to be used for, and you're throwing out disjointed platitudes and promises of no tax increases that don't make common sense. Now, if you're going to convince the public to pass this bond, they need to know the truth, for better or worse. Because if you say no tax increase and taxes later increase, people will never believe a word you have to say in the future. Your credibility about future issues as large as this are going to be. I'm at 3 minutes already?
Yes.
Well, like I say, there's plenty more I could suggest, but time is out.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here tonight. We now move into superintendent's report. The curriculum report tonight is information only. The financial report is information only. The delinquent tax report is being presented tonight by Mr. Noe Reyes. There you are. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Superintendent, and members of the board. As always, thank you for having me today. This is our annual report on total revenue from tax collections and as well as delinquent tax collections. At any point, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to stop me. Some of these numbers, if you don't deal with them every day, can be a little bit confusing. But I will do my best to be clear about what all these numbers mean. If you'll turn with me to page 3 in your reports, this is the first category of collections that I like to present. It's perhaps the most important. This next figure represents total revenue from tax collections as a percentage of your fiscal year levy. This is an addition of current tax collections plus all delinquent tax years plus penalties and interest. If you'll start with tax year 2021 with me, fiscal year ending 6/30/2022, the adjusted tax levy was $69,803,000. Total current and delinquent tax collections was $69,477,000. Penalty and interest collected on delinquent taxes was $1,144,000. Total revenue from tax collections, $70,622,000, for a percentage of 101.17 of the 2021 fiscal year tax levy. As you can see, over the last 4 years, Bastrop ISD has collected over 100% each year. And I think if we go back 7 or 8 years, it's going to be over 100% or very close to it. The state requires this number to be 95% or above in its what's called first ratings, which is conducted by TEA. If this number is not 95% or above, it could impact the state funding formula. So it's important for this number to be where it is. Here, of course, we have where our percentages are much higher. So there is nothing to be worried about. I think Bastrop ISD received the highest rating there is in first rating. So, are there any questions? The next figure, which is on page 4, what we call cumulative tax collections. This is each year's tax levy collected over time. This is each year's pure tax levy. Tax year 2021, fiscal year ending 6/30 of 22, excuse me. The adjusted tax levy was $69,803,000. Tax remaining due as of February 28, 2023, $1.182 million. We've collected $68,621,000 for a percentage collected of 98.3. As you can see over time, that number grows due to collections efforts and payment agreements. Over time, we collect very close to 100% of each tax year's levy. Are there any questions about this? The third figure that I'd like to talk about is on page 5. This is purely delinquent tax collections. As a reminder of the tax calendar, tax bills usually come out in October or November. Taxes go delinquent February 1st, and then July 1st, whatever is left unpaid is then turned over to our law firm for collections. In tax year 2021, which was turned over to us July 1st of 2022, there were $2.378 million delinquent of the 2021 tax levy. We've collected 1.196 million of that, 50.3%. There's 1.182 million outstanding. I shoot for this number to be 50 to 60% during the first 12 months of collection. We achieve that usually before that, which is in 8 months of collection. Over time, as you can see, we collect most of the delinquencies for each tax year. Pretty straightforward. Is there any questions about this? Finally, on page 9 of your reports, there's a lot of information in addition to what I'm highlighting today, but I'm highlighting these figures which I think are the most important. Now, Total delinquent taxes for 2021 and prior tax years. Now, this goes all the way back as far as 20 years because of what we call tax deferrals, which are deferred taxes on residence homesteads for individuals that are over 65 or disabled. For the last 20 years, there remains 3.5 million uncollected. Now, all of that is divided into this pie chart here. As you can see, $904,000 of that $3.5 million, or about 25, almost 26%, is in tax deferrals. These are tax accounts on properties that we cannot collect due to state law. We will be able to collect these at some point in the future, as long as they are no longer in tax deferral. So right off the bat, a quarter of your 3.5 outstanding is deferred and therefore uncollectible at this time. About 1 million of it is in a delinquent tax lawsuit, so about 29%. We have about $500,000 roughly in pre-litigation payouts. And then, of course, the remaining is either a research in progress. This could be accounts that have that are more complex to collect, like complex airship property, for example. And then the rest falls under bankruptcy or uncollectible personal property. Are there any questions about this figure? Overall, as always, each of these numbers are right where they need to be. They're high collection rates. So I think Bastrop ISD collections are in very, very good shape, as always. Any questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. See you next time.
All right. Thank you. Next, we have a budget update by Tina Edgar, Chief Financial Officer. Welcome.
Good evening, President Moore, Mr. Edwards, and Board of Trustees. This evening, I will be providing the latest update to our budget development for 23-24. There's not a whole lot of new information at this time, but we will provide the best information that we do have. Okay, so we'll first take a look at how our current fiscal year is shaping up for fiscal year end. Then we'll look at some new budget assumptions and considerations as we continue to monitor the legislative session. And then we'll conclude with upcoming action items. So similar to last year, one of the most significant factors impacting this year's budget is average daily attendance. As you know, ADA is one of the most sensitive numbers in the state funding formulas, and we continue to average below pre-COVID years, although we have seen some recovery this year over last year at about 2%, and that's due to our attendance initiatives. We're currently averaging around 92%, looking at the orange line there in the middle, versus 94% in pre-COVID years, and that's the purple line up above. You know, we're hearing that this is true across the state. I recently had an opportunity to sit next to the Elgin ISD CFO, and she had indicated their district is at about 90% attendance rate, and that's kind of where we were last year. So on this slide, the left column is prior year actuals, your middle column is your adopted budget this year, and then your last column is our fiscal year estimates. So as we roll into the end of this fiscal year, we are seeing tax collections coming in a little bit lower than budgeted, but it is being offset by increased ADA. Now, I know you just heard me say that ADA is low. Explanation on that is we anticipated our ADA to be low this year, so we were very conservative in our budget estimates. We're above those budget estimates currently, but we're not where we need to be from where we normally are on average, if that makes sense. We are seeing some uptick in interest earnings and some savings on the expenditure side. So we're currently anticipating to end the year with about $1.2 million in fund balance, which puts us just above that 90 days, which is best practice. Now, I know you might be thinking, gee, 1.2 is a large chunk of change. Well, that number, to put things in perspective, is only 1% of our actual expenditures. So you really don't want to come in much lower than that, or you may run the risk of overspending your budget. So moving into next year, we're modeling current law at this time with enrollment in ADA growth at 3.3%. We did receive our preliminary property values from the Central Appraisal District, and that growth from April to April is almost 12%. So if no changes were made during the session, we would only stand to gain about $5.8 million. Again, that looks like a pretty decent, substantial number, but again, to put things in perspective, according to our staffing formulas, we would need 5.7 of that just on positions. So that doesn't leave much left for anything else. Now that's under current law. We are continuously monitoring the many variables that can change outcomes and influence budget decisions. So we talked about ADA earlier. Every 50 students in ADA is about $340,000 in our budget. So 300 students would be about $2 million. 300 students would be about a 2.5% increase over where we currently are today, which would put us just a little bit above pre-COVID levels. I think it's reasonable. I think we can get there. So we're also hearing discussions of the $90 increase to basic allotment. If you recall, last month, I reported out that we would need $915 increase to basic allotment just to keep up with inflation from 2019. So this modest increase will yield about $1.5 million. Property value growth, tax compression, any new homestead increases or caps to the annual growth factor will all impact our tax rate. We probably won't have that number till about August. Then other considerations that need to be balanced with any new revenue, of course, are a priority with teacher pay and compensation increases, including substitute pay, our new campus overhead, our new positions, which we just talked about, then inflation, which we're still contending with, and our in-house transition plan. We'll talk about that a little bit later on this evening. So moving into some bills on the move, which are probably changing as we speak, but House Bill 100 provides that $90 increase to basic allotment. It also changes some program funding elements from attendance-based to enrollment-based. It includes some minor updates to special ed, transportation, and instructional materials, and it introduces some new allotments, including fine arts allotment and a few other new allotments. Senate Bill 8, that's your voucher bill. And then Senate Bill 9 provides a one-time salary increase of $2,000 for teachers in districts over 20,000 students and $6,000 for teachers in districts under 20,000 students. So our teachers would receive a one-time payment for 23-24 only of $6,000. And then it goes away. We are also seeing some funding assistance with retiree hires, which we use to fill in vacant positions. That's currently costing us about $200,000 annually, so that would help a little bit. And of course, these are only 3 of the very many bills that are being negotiated right now. So we will continue to monitor activity very closely, and we'll have many decisions to make for quickly approaching actions leading up to the budget adoption. This includes the board briefing in May, our publication of the notice of public meeting, which includes our truth in taxation calculations. We'll set and call the date for the hearing on the 20th, and then the last day of the legislative session is May 29th. Then moving into June, we'll have the budget and tax rate hearing. We'll adopt the 23-24 budget, and then we'll produce a final amendment for the current year. And that's all I have for you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your work on this and keeping us up to date. It is definitely a moving target at this point, and a little frightening at times to think what might happen, and encouraging about things that could happen, so we hope for the best on that. Since that is just an update, there's no action required on that. We next move to the Administrative Services and Human Resources report, which is for information only. Operations Department report, also information only. There's no report this month for the Police Department. And Communications and Community Relations report is for information only. Now we move to our 2021 bond update.
Yes, and with us today, Amber O'Donnell. She's the principal and Central Texas Market Lead, and kind of leading our charge here from Stantec. But before Amber, come on up, Amber. Before she does her presentation, I do want to introduce some very important people that have been just outstanding to work with. It's the team that's from our architect firm and from our construction. As you all know, the 21 bond has a very ambitious construction program and timeline and schedule. And this stuff wouldn't be possible without some of the people I'm going to name. So I've already mentioned Amber O'Donnell. Marissa Z. Shang is also here. There she is. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. And Javier, are you here? Rosero's back there, and he's also on the Stantec team that will be doing part of the presentation. And I want to introduce the American construction team so that as you're looking at the slides, you have a face with the people that are behind the scenes. We have Tom Satori, who's the overall project director. Where are you, Tom? Just hello. Then we have Cody Lester, and he's the project manager for Camino Real, Colony Oaks, and Cedar Creek Elementary. I don't know what you did wrong, Cody, to get all that, but well done. We also have Corey Taylor. He's the project manager for our MENA expansion. There's Corey. Thank you for being here, Corey. We appreciate you. And then, of course, we have Josh Mayfield. He's our project manager for the Bastrop High School and a local feller at that. So thank you all so much. And Amber, I'll turn it over to you all. Appreciate you all being here.
Thank you so much, members of the board and superintendent. It's our pleasure to be here today, give you an exciting update on all of these amazing projects going on. And I have to second that the American team is awesome to partner with, so it's been a pleasure working with them. And I'm going to go through the construction updates of your projects in progress right now, and Marissa is going to touch on the projects that are in design. So I'll start with MENA. I drove past there on the way in, and a lot of exciting things going on. I'm sure you've seen the masonry going up, and this is just an aerial photo of that brand new building. And the roof work is done, your HVAC units are in, almost going to be closed in and get that working, cooled off. But all the HVAC work is in there. They're going to be starting to put in ceilings here soon, finishing up drywall as well, and then start finishes. This is just an image of one of the classrooms work in there. You can see the drywall is up. They're going to be texturing and finishing that soon. And then just a photo of the outside scaffolding for that masonry work, which I think is looking great so far. Moving on to Cedar Creek Elementary School. You had some paving work done there for your bus loop, and that is looking really good here, and Cody's been working on that one as well. Just some photos there. And then for Colony Oaks Elementary School, this was super exciting for us, these brand new elementary schools. But here's just an update of all of the work going on right now in the different areas of the campus. And I know that framing is done there. They're putting up drywall, float and finish of that. Here's an aerial of that campus right there in the neighborhood. It's coming along really well. This is your front entrance. So right here, that would be your front entrance and library. And then this is your kindergarten wing here. This is the reception area, coming along really well. So if you can imagine some greens that are going to be happening there, reception desk, and your admin suite. And this is a toilet room in your clinic. So some nice bright colors going on. And this is your LGI room, which actually in this space, if you go visit, it's an amazing view and it feels great. And then this is looking down into the library. I don't know if you remember renderings, but if you saw that truss, that was kind of a feature element here in the library. That's that right there. So it's neat seeing that come along. And then this is looking down onto the stage in your cafeteria area. There's still masonry work going on, but windows are in. All the structure obviously is in. This is the kitchen area. So still some work there to do, and then it'll be a little while till your equipment starts coming in, but it is coming. And then this is just another image of the exterior. these finishes and your patterns on your brick are gonna be coming down the line too. And then on Camino Real, it's very similar. They're kind of neck and neck on schedule, looking good. Aerial view, and then again, all of the progress updates. This is the same image as before into your library space and entrance and kindergarten wing. And this is the reception here. So they do have some paint going on. It's gonna be fun and exciting looking down into the library here. And then this is your pre-K and kinder corridor. So they've got tile work going down all the way through these corridors, which is looking great so far. They've already got some paint going on as well. Finish coats will be coming after they get everything cleaned up in here. This is Area B, the second floor, typical classroom. This is Area B restroom for all the students' restroom. And then another exterior view of the building. Going on to Bastrop High School, this is an aerial view of that, where your new addition building would be attaching right here to the side of the building. I know Josh is working really hard at getting things started there, and we are still working on getting our building permit approval, but we did get some site work approved, so he's gonna be starting utilities here, and they already did get paint in the classrooms, so that's a picture of what you see here. Nice refresh on the interior. And then going on to Cedar Creek High School, which Corey is working on. They got that exterior stair into the side with the canopy. There's lights out there as well. And here's an image from the inside, a new storefront, so you could go out to that exterior stair. And then classroom work here, all new finishes, ceiling, paint, restroom tile, and then a corridor tile, floor refinishing, and then a lot of work in the field house as well, painting and sealing of the concrete floors. It's an image of your upgraded science labs and classrooms. And then I'm going to pass it over to Marissa to go over our design updates.
All right, so switching gears. Oh, sorry. So Bastrop Intermediate School. In the areas in blue, we have a reconfiguration of the admin areas. You'll have new walls, doors, finishes, new HVAC and electrical plumbing equipment to go with that, as well as card readers and additional security updates. In the areas in yellow, you'll have light renovation. So these areas are consisted of new ceiling, lights, outlet covers, receptacles, switch plates, and some new plumbing fixtures. And then on the exterior, you're going to have an extension of the existing canopy in pink. Orange is indicating of new flooring throughout the corridors. And this is for Bastrop Intermediate. And then inside, we have a conceptual rendering of what that reception desk with that feature wall may look like. And then for Cedar Creek Intermediate School, we have again, the areas in blue are reconfiguration of the admin areas. So same as previously, new walls, doors, finishes with the required HVAC and electrical plumbing and technology. And then we have a light renovation of new ceilings, lights, outlets, new plumbing fixtures. Again, we have corridors that are getting new flooring throughout, and an extension of the existing canopy and replacement of the current canopy. And then this is also a conceptual rendering of what Cedar Creek Intermediate School may look like. And then moving on to Bastrop Middle School. Similar approach here. We're reconfiguring the admin spaces with the similar requirements of all those new finishes, doors, and mechanical, electrical, and plumbing requirements. And then we'll have new ceilings, light switch covers, and plumbing fixtures in the areas in yellow. We will also have gym replacement lights at this location. And then in orange, we have new flooring and paint. And then we also will be replacing the existing lights for LED. In addition to that, we have new asphalt at the track, new sod at the field. We're doing pre-engineered metal building for the weight room.
Well, let me add to that
Go
too.
ahead.
So these, those two things she just mentioned, we are right now, intermediates and middle schools have completed their construction document phase. So they're now going to be going into bidding. And some of these items are alternates, and so we're asking for pricing to see how these are going to shake out for scope. And intermediates and middle schools are very, very similar in scope, as well as your elementary schools.
And then the conceptual rendering for the Bastrop Middle School. Cedar Creek Middle School. Similar approach. Reconfiguring admin, having some light renovation areas as well. And then new flooring, new paint, and replacing of the existing light fixtures within the corridors. And then we are going to replace existing lights in the gym. And then as Amber mentioned, same for track and field and new weight room addition. The conceptual rendering for Cedar Creek Middle School. Yes.
School. Are they remaining?
Yes, we are not having any current work going on there in the courtyard.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And then moving on to the elementary school renovations, we have a meal, or apparently we have Bluebonnet. We have the reconfiguration of admin spaces here. We want to make sure that we have a new reception desk, new flooring paint, upgrade the lighting, have access control. We're going to add some security film also to this location. We're going to have a transaction window also. In addition to that, we have new flooring, paint, and replacement lights to the corridors. We also have work that's going to be done on the exterior for paint and stucco at the entry. You can kind of see that indicated. Is there a pointer on here? There we go. Right here. And then we're also going to repaint the fire lane curb and parking striping. And then Cedar Creek Elementary, similar. Upgrade to the admin, replacing of the new floors, paint walls, and replace the existing lighting. We're also going to upgrade the fabric canopies at the playground, paint the exterior, and repaint the fire lane and curb at the parking striping. The meal, we have, again, upgraded admin area, new flooring, new paint, and replacement of the existing lights in the corridors. We have additional signage for vehicle wayfinding in the exterior. We are also going to paint the exterior, downspouts and canopy, and then we're going to repaint fire lane, curb, park striping, and then we're also going to have
Parking and paving improvements.
Yes. And then we have Lost Pines Elementary. We have upgraded admin area and reconfiguration of the admin area and upgraded corridors with new floors, painted walls, replace the existing lights. We're also going to go over the fabric canopies of the playground, paint the exterior stucco, and repaint fire lane, curb, and park striping. Similar at Red Rock. exactly the same. And then CRCA renovations. We have the upgrade to the admin location. Here we're reconfiguring at one point. Admin was located within this corridor. We're switching it over here. And what was once here is now getting moved to this location. We are upgrading the flooring, painting the walls, and replacing existing lights in the corridors as well.
And I'll add to this for CRCA. The reason this whole admin suite is moving was just like the task for all of your other campuses is to upgrade your security and your whole process of how you come through admin and get processed and keep that a secure area.
And then in addition to that, we're going to repaint the fire lane curb and repaint parking striping.
Okay, so then overview, look at schedules, going through those. The elementary schools right now that we just talked about are in SD. So schematic design, and so those plans were showing the intention of what we'd like to include, and they will now be going to American to see what that cost is looking like. But as those get through design, the intention is that they would have a final bid period here in September, October, and then start construction on those elementary schools the summer of '24. So then jumping back up to the top of the schedule, your Colony Oaks and Camino Real in construction now are on track to be finishing up this year, at the end of summer. And then same with Mina and Cedar Creek High School. Your Bastrop High School is going to carry out a little bit longer than that till the summer of '24. And then your athletics high school piece is right now going into bidding as well. So that's a little bit behind the rest of the high school work, but the final date is still the same. And then intermediates and middle schools right now, as I said, is just finished up CDs and going into the bidding. And the intention after bidding is to immediately start construction here and finish up towards the end of this year. So that's an overview of all the schedules where we're at right now. And if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
School's open in August.
Yeah. Yes.
Really, really badly, but thank you. Thank you for all the work that y'all are doing.
The guys back there.
Yeah.
I know those guys, yeah. What are y'all doing here?
Well, we really do appreciate working here in the district and know that even the small changes, anything that we can do has a big impact on education and the students here, and we love seeing that and being a part of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the update.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you.
We now move to our spring 2023 demographics report. Our presenter tonight is Rocky Gardner, that is on to education. Welcome.
Good evening, members of the board. Superintendent Edwards, pleasure to be back in Bastrop. And this is a spring report. So this research has been taking place over the last 3 or 4 months, just from the fall. And so I'm going to go through it fairly briskly, but we can stop at any time. First of all, economic conditions. Austin continues to be, the hottest market in the area, in the nation. I think one-way rentals from U-Haul came out, and I think Austin and San Antonio are both in the top 10 in one-way U-Haul rentals. So it's still happening. Unemployment rates are back below where they were pre-COVID. So we're seeing strong, and I think Bastrop's not, they're drawing it too, right? Even if it's from big or little, we've got 75 to 300 jobs at Mocha. The LLC there, Colson's going to have about 30 jobs. And of course, TA Bastrop, that's an adhesive manufacturing plant that's going to also bring a few jobs. But I think just these jobs create jobs. The whole smokestacks or chimneys, they kind of trail each other. So as they keep going, then there's more housing. And what's interesting from a housing perspective, of course, everyone goes to Snailbrook, just a little trivia. Snailbrook, I heard, was named after the drill bit that they use at the boring company. Anyway, if you're in a trivia contest, that might be important. But the borings, the SpaceX, this is all important. But I think that what we're seeing, and we have another property later, is the affordability aspect that they're trying to create with these self-contained. I think that's this. Snellbrook's actually going to be a city. They want it to become an incorporated area, but it'll all feed into Bastrop ISD. Last year that we just had some new data came out, the state added 92,000 students. So we bumped back up. You know, we're kind of getting back some of what we lost at COVID. If you look back 3 years ago, we lost 122,000 students after averaging about a 50,000 growth per year. So really that felt like 180,000 students that we lost. Now we've got back 55,000, 90,000. So we're almost getting back to where we were pre-COVID. We're not, you know, some of those 100,000 students have not come back. At this point, they probably won't. I think we're probably, I consider this to be the first kind of back to as close to normal as you could think of. You know, 2021 certainly wasn't. 21, 22 we thought would be a bounce back. It didn't really bounce back because of the, you know, the other strains. So now we're seeing what could be the new normal. Region 13 was very, very similar to the state. We had a nice bounce back in Region 13, you know, again this year. Bastrop has now added, you know, about 4%, you know, 512 students last year. So we're seeing continued housing in Bastrop. It's pushing this way. We're going to talk more and more about that. What we're seeing from a regional perspective from the Austin area is starts have certainly came down. Starts are just barely exceeding closings. We get first quarter data will come out in about 2 weeks, and we suspect that closings will now exceed starts for a little while. And basically, it's already exceeded starts in the fourth quarter in Houston and Austin. So, you know, I'm sorry, Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth. So Austin's just now, you know, they're coming down. They're working off inventories, what they're doing. They're still developing land, so you're seeing dirt moving throughout Bastrop. It's just getting the housing going again is the challenge. Multifamily is important to understand in that it shows a decline in occupancy. It's sitting right at 90%. But that decline really only happened because they added 9,000 units. So really, it's kind of a pretty good sign. They were able to add 9,000 units and still stay at 90%. Apartment rentals are still very strong and going to continue to be because of affordability. The Austin housing market, of course, the sales slowed in 22 from 41,000 to 33,000, but prices didn't. You know, prices continue to go up. Median price went up. You know, total listings are up. And I think that month's inventory is at 2.7. Now that's up, but keep in mind that 3 months is pretty normal. So we're getting back to some normalcy, but at some point there's going to have to probably be some kind of price adjustment, especially given interest rate changes. As far as Bastrop goes, these numbers are based on deed transactions. So we pulled deed transactions from the appraisal district of both new and existing homes. Well, 2,300 homes in Bastrop saw deed transactions. So that's the strongest home sales we've seen in Bastrop in, you can see, well over 10 years. So we're seeing some strong growth. And of course, that's because of the non-affordability, if that's a word, in Austin. You know, things are pushing this direction. And the price point, though, look at that. To 2022, you know, 400,000, you know, is what the average new home based on these same deed transactions, and 321 for an existing home. It appears 300,000 is becoming the new affordable. It's amazing, if you ask. So we're tracking subdivisions, and these are new developments, 30 actively building subdivisions of all different sizes with 4,300 VDL. Just a reminder, VDL is a vacant developed lot, which means it's ready to be built on right now. They can start moving dirt. And over 7,000 future lots. I mean, future lots within those actively building subdivisions. Then we got 16 future subdivisions with over 14,000 lots. Now, Excess Ranch is kind of the wild card out there, so that's a big chunk of that 14,000. But you know, when you're doing 1,000 to 1,200 homes a year, you can see that what we do have is going to be continuing Bastrop for quite some time. That chart below, I want to focus a little bit on that inventory number, 691 at the end of the fourth quarter. What that means is those are homes that are under construction at 576, and then the difference between 691 and 576 are homes that are finished but vacant. And that's important because that's gone up a little bit. When the interest rates went up, we started seeing some cancellations. But we think a good part of that's going to work. It's going to go this summer, plus those closings that happened in the fourth quarter. We got quarter starts of 148. And keep in mind also, Bastrop also has a strong manufactured housing group too that's growing. So your annual number of, say, 796 starts there, we probably have another 400 or 500 starts stuff that comes in from manufactured mobile homes as well. So we're still seeing strong housing activity. The Colony, of course, 223 homes under construction at the end of the fourth quarter, 350 to 375 homes per year. That yield, that current student yield, 0.207, so that'd be 2 students for every 10 homes. That's going to continue to climb. That's just kind of new, but as those homes sell and mature, I think you're going to see yields close to 0.5 when this is completely built out, which means with 5,000 lots, that could be pretty close to 2,500 students there, about half of those being elementary. Addleton's got 18 homes under construction. They'd like to do 100 homes a year. David Weekley's pretty consistent there. No current students, but you can see from that March, that was just a couple months ago, that they've got some homes ready to go, and will certainly have some impact. Bastrop Grove, 18 future lots, 194 vacant developed lots, so they're going to be handy with Lennar Homes. Again, no students currently. Double Eagle Ranch, that's out in Bluebonnet, 106 vacant developed lots, 49 homes under construction, so and that yield is also low, but again, I think that yield will increase as well. It won't get as high because of the price point of those homes, but you'll probably get to 0.3, I would gather. And of course, the Bordeaux tract, we've been looking at this for a while. The preliminary plat was approved in April. Anticipate groundwork starting mid this year or any time there in Bordeaux. And the New Creek, 765 acres. You guys, we just learned of this. Thank you, Dr. Lee. It's comprised of affordable modular homes. The article says it could be kind of like a Legoland type housing, but again, it's affordable product. So it's going to have rent units, so I think this will be a good thing because of some of the, they like to begin late spring, summer, having houses out there. So we'll see. They've got several projects in the state, this new company does, and none of them are complete yet, so we don't have a real idea what the yields will be, but the email that we received back said they'd like to be attractive to teachers, to things like that. They could be affordable options. And of course, multifamily, your yield of multifamily is about 0.3. We include this because multifamily includes manufactured housing, mobile homes, and apartments because they're all multiple units on one property. So you're sitting at about 0.3 yield. We always get higher yields from those communities. So with that, let's talk a little bit about projections. This is kindergarten has been the hard thing, especially since COVID. We've seen a decline in kindergarten. We've also seen a decline in birth rates. In 2021, I think there were 10,000 less births in the state of Texas than there were the previous year. What's interesting, if you look at the births in Bastrop there, we've increased. We had 618 in 2017 and 764 in 2021. So we do think you're going to see some kindergarten enrollment from that. You're capturing a positive shares. So your enrollment is stronger than your births, but that's because of all the new housing. So a strong number of your kindergarten students weren't born in Bastrop or will not have been born in Bastrop, what we're seeing there. So that forecast is really important because if we can't hit kindergarten, that tracks all the way through. We're forecasting next year, this year you add about 512 students as of snapshot. We're forecasting a very similar year, 541. I think you'll see more students, but even if you have a little bit fewer houses, just because those yields are starting to increase, that existing property, that $300,000 product is attractive. We think you could stay right at that, 500 to 700 homes per year as we go forward. You're going to be, pushing 20,000 students within 10 years for sure. And it's going to come in, your elementary student. Now we've worked in the Camino Real and the Cedar Creek Elementary here, so you can see that they're now included. They weren't in my previous report. You've got some strong capacity coming on there. Your intermediate schools are looking good for a few years. This growth is coming, right? Your middle school there, we can see that there's some. We've got 1,969 students in middle school with 1,700 capacity. So this is definitely the growth trend that's coming. It's not going to go away. So we're really looking at, like I said, looking at 500 students per year. That's almost an elementary school per year. And within about 5 years, you'll be adding about an elementary school per year when you look at that 750. So that's some really solid growth, and I think it's going to keep coming with the jobs on this side of the toll road. It's really going to stay strong in Bastrop. So we had 2,300 total home sales at the end of 2022 based on deed transactions. Groundwork's underway on about 137 lots and 2 subdivisions. That just means they're delivering more vacant developed lots as we speak. We think you'll add 1,200 to 1,600 new residential units annually, combination of new construction. And we're forecasting to enroll 15,500 students in 5 years and over 19,000 within 10 years. And you could be pushing 20, depending on how that housing market shifts. I'll breathe now, and you guys can, I'll be happy to take questions, discuss any of that.
So, impressive numbers.
Impressive or depressive?
Yeah.
I was going to say
sufficiently scared.
Impressively
but I think when we talk about the bond, that we have out, to our community, and you hear Rocky say that we need an elementary school every year. So we have 2 coming up now. We get this bond, if the voters support it, that's 2 more. So we'd have 4 within 4 years. This is real, and when you start to see it and hear it more often, it's compelling.
That only keeps us even.
And it keeps us even.
Yeah, that's just it, yeah. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. Ms. McClure,
Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
We now move to the consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull any of the consent agenda items from discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented. We have moved and a second to accept them as presented. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We now move to our action items. We can discuss consider determination of a contract for comprehensive facilities management and services, maintenance, custodial, and grounds at the end of the contract term and approve operations transition plan. Dina Edgar, Chief
Good
Financial
evening
Officer.
again. So I'm very pleased to be presenting an overview of our transition plan for bringing operations in-house. This will include facilities and systems maintenance, custodial, and grounds. And then I'll cover each of these areas individually at a very high level. So I wanted to start out with a mission statement for our facilities management plan. To ensure a safe and sanitary environment for students and staff that fosters learning and supports the educational mission of the district, while also protecting the district's investments in its assets. Okay, so let's take a look at the lay of the land in our district to get a better idea of the magnitude of what all needs to be managed and maintained. We have almost 2 million square feet to clean and maintain across 450 square miles district-wide. We're managing 1,700 aging HVAC units across the district. We've been replacing anywhere between 50 and 70 units annually, ranging from 50 to 20-ton units. We do have some great partners that we're working with, and we're trying to keep ahead of the AC situation as units go. We want to be able to respond quickly. So we currently employ 1,500 employees, almost 1,500. This plan will increase that by about 110 more employees. And we have 12,547 students to keep safe and comfortable so that they're able to focus on learning. So this is a snapshot of all of our buildings and the year it was built. We have buildings ranging from 70 years old to our youngest building at 14 years old. The average age of our buildings is, in aggregate, 34 years old. So many of our buildings are fully depreciated, which means what? A lot of maintenance on those buildings, right? Okay, so we'll move into some startup expenses. We do have White Fleet on order currently, which includes a total of 29 vehicles at a cost of $1.3 million. This is our largest startup expense. Grounds came in at $163,000, custodial at $240,000, and then we purchased over a year's supply of cleaning products through utilization of a grant at $425,000. So moving into the individual areas, we'll start with maintenance. So for staffing, we used formulas that were recommended by the Association of Physical Plant Administration where applicable. For maintenance, this includes 1 FTE per 93,255 square feet, covering 2 million square feet, put us at about 21 employees. And this includes a manager and a lead. Monthly payroll cost is estimated at $93,336 and will cover all the specialized areas, including HVAC, refrigeration, plumbing, and then all the general maintenance as well. So primary responsibilities in this area will be preventative maintenance, physical plant operations, and then maintenance of buildings and equipment, including some kitchen. We'll process work order requests through a system called Brightly, which was formerly School Dude, and that is pretty much industry standard. A lot of districts use that software. We'll also sustain and grow our energy conservation programs, as well as manage compliance and regulatory requirements. So for custodial, we used a recommended formula from the same association, which is 1 FTE per 26,000 square feet. Standard protocol for school districts is anywhere between 28 to 30 square feet, so we'll have a little bit more coverage in our buildings. Using this formula, we'll need 76 employees, including 2 custodial managers at a monthly payroll cost of almost $270,000. They'll be responsible for cleaning and managing all 2 million square feet, and this includes our new facilities. And we'll have very specific cleaning tasks assigned to each of these areas shown on the slide. For grounds crews, we're looking at 13 employees, including a manager and a lead, at a monthly payroll cost budget of $42,000. They'll maintain grass in all the athletic areas, including infields, bleachers, turf, landscaping, and all the outdoor spaces, with a focus on safety and aesthetics. So some other operating costs will include our work order system, which is coming in at about $25,000 annually. Of course, uniforms, phones, some things associated with the vehicles like decals, insurance, telematics, oil changes, things like that. Compliance testing, we're currently paying for that now, so that's not a new cost that we're incurring. Then any additional contracted services for work beyond what we can handle in-house, we're also currently paying for anything over $5,000 right now. So that's really not a new expense for us either. And then a possible HR and finance FTE. Okay, so you might ask yourself, how are we affording all of this? So for startup expenses, we assigned $3 million of fund balance last year, and we received that grant of $425,000. That gives us a total of $3.4 million. The grant covered a full year's worth of cleaning products, which we have already purchased and received. So our total startup is coming in at approximately $2.2 million, which leaves almost $1.3 million in fund balance for anything unforeseen throughout the year. And then we don't have to purchase those cleaning products because we have them. So moving into monthly recurring costs, this is annualized on the slide. So we're currently spending close to $7 million annually in our existing contract. We're going to take that money and move it over to our program. We applied a 5% inflationary factor into our numbers. So that brings our budget to about $7.3 million. So after covering payroll, we'll have about $150,000 monthly to cover all the costs, non-payroll costs. We're currently, in our current contract, budgeting $70,000 monthly for those same things. So we feel very comfortable with the $150,000. We think we're going to be able to do some deferred maintenance and maybe even have operational savings with that budget. So looking at our timeline, we'll seek board approval this evening, and we'll turn around with written notice this week. We have closed RFPs for grounds and custodial equipment, and we'll be placing those orders very soon. In May, we'll take delivery of the vehicles, we'll order some uniforms, and we'll begin our HR planning. We're going to get our work order system up in June, and then in July, we'll do pre-employment activity, and then officially transition. In August, our contract is expiring August 5th. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
There's a lot to happen in a very short amount of time.
It is.
Yes. but it's good that we have a start on it.
Everything's falling into
Yeah.
place though,
So
so
far.
far, knock on wood.
Okay, yes.
Tina, I think you might have answered this Thursday night, but when you look at payroll, that does include what we'll be paying for health benefits and retirement for
So
our
this
new
assumes
employees?
that we're fully staffed in every area and that every single employee takes our benefits.
Okay.
That's what this assumption is based on.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Dina, the funding that is set aside, the $150,000
$1,000
So what kinds of things would that be needed for?
So that is for, just the day-to-day things. So we won't need the cleaning products because we already have them. But that would be any repairs that need to be made. Bill is constantly running around, doing repairs all around the district. That also will include HVAC in that. But we have a jump start on those units as well. Just general maintenance things. I can't even say it's fuel because fuel's budgeted in another area and we're already covering that cost, so.
Don't foresee that being not enough at any point in time.
I don't. I think we're going to be able to really dig in and do some deferred maintenance that we haven't gotten to, and
So things won't pop up.
I still think there's enough there to even have some operational savings.
Thank
And
you.
How will we cover cleaning supplies the following year? Are we applying for another grant, or is that something that?
We'll have to pick that up.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think there's enough there.
Okay.
And then we have that 1.3 in fund balance remaining. So if anything, is unforeseen, well, we'll be able to have that safety net, which is really nice.
Well, unforeseen items we already take care of.
That's true. We do that on a regular, you're right.
We do that.
Anything else?
My hope is that the employees understand that this is we're doing this because we feel like it's in their best interest too. However, if they don't, Panay, are you prepared to hire more people? Okay.
Do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the superintendent or his designee to send notice of termination to vendor in accordance with the contract and take all other necessary actions to terminate the contract as presented.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? There being none, I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We now move to consider the approval of revisions to TASB policy DNA local X, performance dash X, I didn't read the dash, I'm sorry. Dash X, performance appraisal evaluation of teachers. Ms. Lafer, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Moore, Board of Trustees, Mr. Edwards. Thank you for the opportunity to bring forward some changes, consideration of changes in our DNA local policy. This is around the Texas Teachers Evaluation System, better known as T-TESS. The changes are with teachers that would be considered less than annual, which is what we call a waiver. So we worked with TASB on updating our policy and took some of their recommendations and then left in a few things that are specific to Bastrop ISD. One of the changes is that we are requiring they have to meet all 7 criteria to be eligible for the waiver. One of the additions is they have to hold an SBEC certification in their teacher assignment. We are also saying that they have to serve or have been assigned to a campus for at least 1 year. So their first year on a campus, their principal doesn't know them, so they would not be eligible for a waiver. They would have to go through the full T-TESS cycle. We are also adding that they have to have more than 2 years of teaching experience. So even if they moved around in the district from a campus to another campus and they have some experience, we would require that 2 years. That we're also adding that they have to have an ESL certification if it's required by TEA, which means it's your elementary grade level teachers as well as your secondary that teach English language arts. We are also changing, waivers used to be every other year. We're changing it to every 3rd year. So If the principal is new on campus, let's say we have a new principal that comes to one of our campuses, no one is eligible for a waiver that first year. The principal needs to get to know all of their teaching staff. So that administrative team is going to be very busy, but it gives the team the opportunity to really focus on their staff and who needs support, who's their strength for mentors and things like that. So that really covers all the changes that we have in our DNA local policy.
Questions, comments? At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the revised policy DNA local-X performance appraisal evaluation of teachers as presented.
I second.
And we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you.
Now we get to consider approval of mascots and colors for Colony Oaks Elementary and Camino Real, and they wouldn't tell us at agenda review what they are.
Yes, principals, I do need to confess, when we met on Thursday at the regular called agenda review, I did not allow anyone to give any of the names. So it's going to be a surprise.
This is a surprise.
All right.
We have.
Yeah, I do need the box, actually, and I need my grandma glasses and everything.
Well,
All right. So, oh, she's serious. She's quite silly.
No, do you want it? So you can, I'm serious.
She's my dear friend, so I love Kaismore. Look,
Yes.
okay, this is so silly. All right, so let's get to this. So when we came on board, we had received information from Dr. Lee's office of the suggestions that had been brought forth as we were talking about the new schools in our community in Bastrop. So with that information, we also hosted meet and greet events where we started meeting our parents and getting social media information out on all the outlets. And so with that, we took more nominations, and then we formed a committee that included both parents and staff from each of our schools to narrow that down to 3. And so, if you can roll to the next slide. So here are the results for the Camino Real survey. We had 156 responses. Our top 3 were the Blue Jays, Falcons, and Owls. And what we did on our committee is we associated colors with the mascot. So if we selected a certain mascot, those would be the colors affiliated with the mascot. And so with 53% of the votes coming in, selecting the Falcons, and we would reign on with Cedar Creek Blue, is what I call it, white and gold. And so in speaking about this with our committee, what we had talked about was carrying the tradition of Cedar Creek, and that all of our mascots are birds, right? So Camino Real is not something new and different. It is part of the Cedar Creek community, and so I was very grateful that they also accepted that. And then when we talked about the colors, of course, honoring Cedar Creek, but bringing in gold for the Kings Road, Camino Real. So we thought that that would be a nice touch.
Way to go.
Thank you. Now you want to step
Do
on
I
up?
have to tell the story about getting into my car?
She's wearing high heels.
I'll tell that
because
story
she's not
later.
much taller than me at all.
So,
She's not.
So for Colony Oaks, we had a similar process, and our timeline was the same, and we got a wide variety of nominations or suggestions. And so the top 3 were one of them was the Beagle. I liked the Beagle because we are a combination of Cedar Creek and Bastrop, so the Bears and the Eagles, you get the Beagles. That was not a fan favorite, though. And then koala, my teachers love alliteration, and so they thought, Colony Oaks koalas, they're cute, but we don't really have koalas around here. And so the fan favorite is the Cougars. So we will be the Colony Oaks, so hopefully the Colony Oaks Cougars. They are fierce, they are strong, and they represent adaptability, which describes our community in this growing district. And so colors, if you can't already tell, are going to, we hope will be navy green with a touch of silver. And so thank you for letting us present our colors and our mascots. Do you have any questions?
It was worth the wait. Thank you.
Thank goodness.
That's right.
All right, so Dr. Lozano and I recommend that you guys approve our mascot and colors as presented.
approve the mascots and colors for Colony Oaks Elementary and Camino Real Elementary Schools as presented.
Second.
In a second, any further
We'll
discussion?
get you your shirt soon.
Wait a minute, we got to vote. We got to vote.
They got to vote.
We got to vote, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So there being no further discussion, I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Now we get.
Now it's official.
Large, I go for a large, okay. Thank you very much, that's very exciting. We move to our information items, which are the Board of Trustees calendar of events, enrollment, single budgeted purchases more than $50,000, and report on board member continuing education hours, which I get to do. This is required by law that once a year we read these out. Under State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member. As board president, I'm required to announce the name of each member who's completed the required continuing education, has exceeded in required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education requirements. For trainings are measured as of the first anniversary of the date of trustee's election or appointment, or 2-year anniversary of his or her previous training as applicable. There are 8 training areas for board members in continuing education: local district orientation, orientation to the Texas Education Code, post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code, team building, additional continuing education, evaluating student academic performance and setting goals, identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking and other maltreatment of children, and school safety. No board members were required to complete the local district orientation or orientation to the Texas Education Agency. This training is for new board members only. No board members were required to complete the post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code training for the time period covered by this announcement that will be coming up, obviously, after the legislature. The following board members have completed the annual team building training: Rick Rivera, Kelly Seacatz, Billy Moore, Molly McClure, Chris M. Dillon, Dr. Matthew Mix, and Ashley Muching. The following board member has completed the additional continuing education requirements: Ashley Muching. The following board members have exceeded in additional continuing education requirements by 1 hour: Molly McClure, Chris M. Dillon, and Dr. Matthew Mix. The following board members have exceeded the additional continuing education requirements by 2 hours: Rick Rivera and Kelly Seacatz. The following board member has exceeded the additional continuing education requirements by 5.5 hours: Billy Moore, who obviously needs a hobby. The following board members were required to complete the evaluating student academic performance and setting goals biennial training: Rick Rivera, Kelly Seacatz, Billy Moore, Molly McClure, Chris M. Dillon, Dr. Matthew Mix, and Ashley Muching. The following board members have completed the biennial training on identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children: Rick Rivera, Kelly Seacatz, Billy Moore, Molly McClure, Chris M. Dillon, Dr. Matthew Mix, and Ashley Muching. The following board members have completed the biennial training on school safety: Rick Rivera, Kelly Seacatz, Billy Moore, Molly McClure, Chris M. Dillon, Dr. Matthew Mix, and Ashley Muching. We did good. So we all met our requirements. That's good to hear that we have a very dedicated board who takes their training seriously, and I appreciate that. We're now moving to closed session. The board will now convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening as followed by the Texas Government Code 551.074, term and probationary contracts for teachers. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of the discussions in the closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It is now 7:28, and we're in closed session. Okay, the time is 7:40, and the board will now reconvene in open session. And I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the term and probationary contracts for teachers as recommended by the administration.
Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, if there's no objection, this meeting is adjourned. I don't see any objections.